It's Loving the Strange with Carrie Jones and Shaun. Loving the Strange, a podcast for weirdos and those who want to be weirder. Embrace the strange. New episodes every Saturday, live streaming Fridays. Loving the Strange. Check us out. Hey.
Hey, baby.
I remembered to go live.
I know. I was going to say, if remembering to go live was an Olympic event, you would have just won the gold medal. Because I saw 29 seconds on there, and I don't think it ever flashes 30. So you were there from the get-go.
I will never beat that record. That is my personal record for remembering to go live after I hit the intro.
I don't think you can get any better than that, baby.
I don't think our podcast can get any better than this, because what's it about?
Something about Bigfoot.
Oh, come on. Something.
Like the many theories attached to Bigfoot nowadays.
Yes. So this podcast, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things in the whole world that's not Dee Harris or Shaun. And that thing is Bigfoot.
Yeah, I tend to forget that sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I know you have an interest in Bigfoot, but I tend to forget exactly how interested
the bird was
used to be
in Bigfoot too.
Of course.
Yeah. So Bigfoot has many names.
Yeah.
And some Bigfoot people are thinking that Bigfoot is a derogatory name for Bigfoot.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't read this.
Yeah. So they're thinking that like it's just kind of not cool to call Bigfoot because they think that it's derogatory. Bigfoot is about more than their foot, but also it's because for a long time, Bigfoot also referred to, like in the 1800s or something, grizzlies. Like there was a especially aggressive grizzly out in the American West, and they called him Bigfoot because I guess he had a big foot because he was a grizzly.
Yeah.
And the two kind of like conflated and became the same. Ooh, that was a big noise. Are you okay?
I was adjusting my office/dining room chair. Sorry.
It's all right. If we had a perfect podcast right now, the window behind me, a Bigfoot would show up right there.
Oh, yeah.
We should have hired someone to wear a Bigfoot costume and just like go across it while we were podcasting, because that would have been amazing.
They'd have to literally be like 10 foot tall, though, because your window's up high.
It's Bigfoot.
I know.
That's the whole point. The whole point. Do you want to talk about the theories of Bigfoot, or can I tell a really cool Bigfoot story first?
Well, tell your story first.
All right. So there's this woman on NPR who used to work on NPR, and now she had a podcast like a couple years ago, and it was all about Bigfoot. And she kept like explaining away that she was still a real journalist, even though she made a podcast about Bigfoot, which I found frustrating because like, don't apologize for what you're into, you know, like,
yeah,
it was just too much backpedaling, but she's also very cool. And, you know, journalists are like that. So she had a interview in the High Country News, right? About her podcast, right? And during her podcast, she mentions this story about a longtime wildlife biologist, I think is her phrasing of it, who, you know, he did federal stuff, he did state stuff, he's always working for an agency. And a long time ago, like decades ago, he was in the Wind River Mountains in Wyoming. And I'm going to read you the quote. Okay, you cool with it?
I'm ready.
All right. So one night he awoke to the sound of heavy breathing and the shadow of what resembled a bear on the wall of his tent. The creature poked its nose into the side of his tent. I do not know how to say this man's name because I think it's Eastern European and I'm going to butcher it, and I'm so sorry, but I think it's Mayanzinski. And so Mayanzinski tried to scare it off by yelping and hitting it. It ran off, but came back a second time. and then a third, much like Shaun in bed. This time, the creature's silhouette was over the top of the tent, and it looked like it was walking on two legs. Meinsinski thought the bear had grabbed onto the branch of a lodgepole pine that stuck out over his tent, so he hit it again. And this time, he hit something hard as rock. And as soon as I did, he says, the shadow came over the top of the tent, and it was a silhouette of a hand that was about twice the width of mine, with an opposed thumb and hair between the fingers. Bears don't have that kind of paw. And it was bigger than a bear's paw, and it didn't have claws. It had fingers with an opposed thumb. So he obviously lived to tell the tale, but the encounter, they say, confused him forever because he had all this training, like professional training, scientific training, and he couldn't explain what had happened.
Yeah.
And so this woman, who was not a believer at all, allegedly, though she made a podcast about Bigfoot, like, why do that if you're not even slightly intrigued? But for like years, she talked to tons of people like him, right? Is what this article says. And it says, quote, rational, logical people who subscribe to the laws of physics and biology, who have experienced something beyond their understanding and just have to figure it out. They keep going out into the woods, hoping to catch another glimpse, to make more astute observations, to get a better sense of what it was and what it isn't. And that is what really intrigues me. You know, like the people like that guy, like who...
Like the ones that should be labeled professionals.
I guess, yeah.
Professional enough to know the difference between a bear and a not bear, Paul, so to speak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like nobody's a Bigfoot specialist really in real life,
no.
But yeah, that makes it more believable, I guess.
It's just so interesting.
It lends a certain sort of credibility.
And then I was trying to imagine, like, if you were above my tent, what I would be thinking, because you're a very large person, you know?
Well, you know, if the light was behind me and my hand was in front of it and you were seeing the shadow, you know how much larger that would make than my real hand?
Oh, it'd be so scary.
Yeah.
So scary.
So maybe it was one of his workmates playing a prank on him.
That would be awesome.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Do you want to like segue in?
Yeah, we could segue. My research is a little different than yours.
I know. That's how we roll.
It's more about the what could Bigfoot be type scenarios.
Yeah.
And basically, there's pretty much 3 camps for the Bigfoot believers, I guess.
Okay. What camp are you?
What am I?
Well, I guess the real question is, do you even believe in Bigfoot or not? Like, in order to have a camp, you have to think that there's a possibility that there is a big hairy thing out there bumping around in the woods.
I really want to believe in Bigfoot. And
why?
Why? Because I like the idea of it.
Why?
Because it's cool, especially if you use some of these camps, some of these reasons of his existence, they would kind of bolster up my, make me feel more. They kind of have pseudo answers for some of the questions, like why has there never been a body found and stuff like that.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear about the camps.
That's why I said pseudo. So the first and foremost, I think, is that he is a fellow hominid. Okay?
Yeah. Do you want to tell us what a hominid is?
Well, sure. Let me find my chart.
You have a chart?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you went all out. I'm so proud of you.
Well, the subfamily, no. I don't know. I don't know the labels, okay? But
all right, where are you getting this from? What's your source?
I don't know. It's in the podcast notes. That's my answer.
I think your source is Wiki.
This one probably is Wiki. So I don't know if it's family or genius or even higher than that. but it's hominoidae. And it includes gorillas, Homo sapiens, pans, which are chimpanzees, and two things I've never heard of, pongos and hylobates.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'll have a little confusion about it later on, but for now, so a hominid is basically somebody that's in our not family, but part of our family tree, we'll say.
All right.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two is that Bigfoot is more of a spiritual creature. He can sort of hop around from dimension to dimension.
Is he a good spiritual creature or a bad spiritual creature?
This does not say, but I would assume he's good.
All right.
And he can be spiritually contacted.
Ooh.
Okay.
Right.
And then the third camp is that Bigfoot is a member of an alien species. Or something related to an alien species. I'm going to add that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the one, believe it or not, that I like to buy into the most.
You want Bigfoot to be from another planet?
Yeah. Because you could use so much of that to explain all the stuff that's missing from the trying to prove if Bigfoot exists argument.
Because he just kind of disappears.
Well, see, what Dee brought up is I was going to bring up.
Can you tell everybody what Dee said? So people.
Dee said, what if he had invisible-like powers or an invisibility cloak like Harry Potter?
I want an invisibility cloak.
Well, in my opinion, that would lean towards the alien aspect rather than the hominid aspect. However, there are people that believe that on Earth, throughout the course of history, more than one hominid has existed, and that's a proven fact, right? Because chimpanzees are actually hominids and Homo sapiens, and
all the other ones,
and Neanderthals are hominids,
and all the other
right?
ones, yeah.
And Homo sapiens and Neanderthals existed at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying, what if some people believe that they're actually Neanderthals? And that they split away from Homo sapiens as Homo sapiens grew smarter, and the Neanderthals basically moved out into the woods and to survive off nature. So after all these tens of thousands of years, they've become the ultimate masters of camouflage, and basically can become invisible if they want to. Or you could go with the technology route, which would be aliens.
You made my chair creak. I laughed so hard. So there are I think that in order to think about this, right?
Yeah.
You got to think about, in the last 150 or 200 years, where the Bigfoot stuff came from in our culture, right?
Yeah.
It existed in North America prior to colonization. But hold on first. Dee said, or maybe they just go to Hogwarts and live in the forest. I think that is very, very true. So the big resurgence of Bigfoot started in 1958. I don't know if you saw any of this, Shaun K, but or as I like to call you, the talent. But basically, there's a great article from Smithsonian Magazine, and they say that how there was this man, and his name was, let me look up his name, Ray Wallace. Yeah. And he lived in, or was somewhere near Bluff Creek, California, right? And he made Bigfoot prints, right?
He made them?
Well, no one knew that.
Yeah, but at the time.
At the time. The Humboldt Times, almost sounds like the Hogwarts Times, D, but it said the headline was Giant Footprints Puzzle Residents, right? And he basically made the footprints, and nobody knew it until he died in 2002. And everybody, like his kids, were like, "Yeah, it was a prank. It was not real. Like,
That's awesome.
Dad did this prank." And then the Patterson Gimlin video was in that same place in 19 whatever. What was that, 60 something? Do you remember?
Yeah, like 7 or 5. I can't remember.
Yeah, right. But it was like the same exact place as the alleged Wallace hoax, like, and just that kind of like kept spiraling and spiraling. There was a book in the 60s about the Yeti, and then everybody's like, "Ooh, that's cool." And it just kept getting bigger and bigger in like pop culture, and that hoaxing aspect obviously still continues today. I was just on a Maine unexplained paranormal site where someone shared a thing from a satire site, and like 4 out of the 5 comments were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing." But the actual, but where they were clicking from, like on the top of the banner of the page, it's like, "This is a satire. This is
Oh,
fake."
really?
Like, yeah. But they were all talking like these 4 out of 5 commenters were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool." And it was not real. Like, it's notoriously not real. And like that hoax thing frustrates people who are actual researchers into cryptozoology and stuff like that. Like, and one of the more famous people, his name is Lauren Coleman, and he's in Maine. And he has a museum. Let me find the exact name of his museum. The International Cryptozoology Museum.
That's in
Portland,
Maine?
Yeah, it's in Portland, Maine. Yeah, I don't know why we've never gone. We're just not cool.
I know.
And he has a direct quote to Smithsonian Magazine where he said, "Technology has ruined the old cryptozoology," which is so sad. And in that same article that Ben Crair has written, he says, and I'm going to give you a direct quote. You ready? You ready for the quote?
I am.
All right. "Some people see the crypto hominids as symbols of pure freedom, living by instinct and foiling every effort to pin them down. To search for Bigfoot in the forest is to taste that freedom. On the trail, you become extra attuned to nature, the smell of scat." That means sniffing the poop.
Mm-hmm.
The sounds of breaking branches, the curious impressions in the dirt. As long as there are wild places in America, Bigfoot remains a possibility that, to its most ardent proponents, cannot be disproved. And I think that's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Because it links Bigfoot to a love of nature and of freedom.
Yeah.
And I believe that's how people used to think about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But I think that people have been having a change of heart about the giant hairy guy or woman. All right, so if you think about like that How to Hunt channel, I think that's the name of it, howtohunt.com.
Yeah.
And there's this guy on there, and he seems like a lovely human being. And I love what his channel does, because it's all just showing all these people. He just reads people's emails, their stories. He doesn't really vet them. He just lets them submit their stories, and they're all about, "Hey, I saw a Bigfoot. Hey, I smelt a Bigfoot. Hey, I had this weird experience. It might be a Bigfoot," and get story after story after story. But collectively, these people kind of feel really, really negatively about the giant hominid or whatever the heck it is. Maybe it's a sloth, who knows? But like, they feel it's nefarious. Like, they feel like Bigfoot is definitely evil, which doesn't go with that Smithsonian article ambiance and narrative of Bigfoot is this reminder of freedom. Bigfoot is this, if Bigfoot can exist in the wild, we haven't killed the wild. Bigfoot is like a joyous reminder that there's mystery in this world. a lot of people who have had sightings on who are telling them on his YouTube channel are thank you, Dee. Bigfoot could also be a hermaphrodite.
Could
but
be.
like, I apologize.
Hermaphrodite
So like,
alien.
sloth. Anyways, so the point is that like they feel like Bigfoot is bad. And some of that, I think, goes in in one of your camps of Bigfoot is a spiritual being. Like,
Right.
a lot of people think that Bigfoot is like mentioned in Genesis as the giant tribe, and it's just bad. Like Bigfoot is bad. Bigfoot is like part of the devilly badness of the world, and
I feel like if that was the case, we would know that for sure by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there'd be more people that were out camping that were found torn limb from limb in their shredded tents.
Well, maybe there are, and the government's just covering it up. That's the other theory about that. You know, like
holy smokes.
It could be.
What have you been watching?
Howtohunt.com. Puts me to bed every night.
Yeah, it does. It's like your lullaby.
So I'm so infatuated by everybody's stories, and I really love them. But the moment I put on this channel, and the guy has a lovely reading voice, but like I put it on usually while I'm waiting for Shaun to come to bed, and boom, I am out. I am just like gone. Nothing like a Bigfoot bedtime story to put me to sleep. It's really bad. Or really good, I guess.
The only thing that puts her to sleep faster is if I read to her out loud.
Shaun's a really good reader out loud, but that also does put me to sleep right away.
I wasn't thinking of that in such a positive light, honey, but thank you.
No, you are. I'm just like, boom, gone. But I think it's really interesting that, like, you know, like some people some of the Bigfoot believer camps put Bigfoot as part of like this bigger conspiracy, like nuclear power plants are related to Bigfoot and scientists and aliens. And Bigfoot is definitely not someone to cuddle, which goes against everything I believed about Bigfoot as a child.
I know.
Yeah.
I think he's just a gentle, hairy little giant.
She said that the Young and Restless theme puts her to sleep. Random, I know, LOL. That's so funny. I'm going to try that tonight. I'm going to go look it up. I'm going to be like,
no, you're going to be wearing earbuds, please.
You don't know that it's a bad theme?
Please.
I don't know. I wonder if I can find it.
So,
yes.
Did you know that there's a really great correlation between Bigfoot sightings and UFO sightings, like geographically?
No.
Yeah. So this economist, Peter Leeson, studied that connection and plotted out the sightings of UFOs and Bigfoot in the United States.
Really?
Yeah. And when you list the top 10 states for UFO and Bigfoot sightings, 6 of the same states occur.
Okay, what are they? Is Maine one? Please let Maine be one.
Nope.
Oh, we gotta move.
Alaska, Colorado,
I'm afraid of Colorado.
New Mexico, Wyoming, Washington, and Oregon. Washington and Oregon were both in the top 5 of the top 10. So
for UFO and Bigfoot?
Yes, that's correct.
I think you would love the Pacific Northwest Bay.
I've been there once.
No, Seattle doesn't count. You were just in the city. That doesn't count.
I like cities.
You sounded like Forrest Gump. I like chocolate.
I gotta say one thing though.
Okay.
And this is off. It's not off topic. It's just out of order for what I was going to say. But one of the things that goes along with the alien, Bigfoot's an alien type thing.
Yeah.
A sub belief would be Bigfoot are aliens' pets. And just like any other
like a puppy.
And just like any other family that's on a super long galactic trip, they might stop on planet Earth to take a leak. And while they're doing that, they figure they probably better let the Bigfoot out.
Are you making that up?
No.
You're making that up.
So historically, Bigfoot's a really great pet. But every once in a while, he gets a hair up his butt and he has a mind of his own and he wanders off.
Is he at the ball courts at the end of School Street? Like
Maybe. Maybe. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No.
So Bigfoot is actually like alien pets that got loose. I'm serious. That's a real belief.
I'm sure he's more articulated, more intelligent, maybe?
No. Let me find
it. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So Steve says, watching
wow.
from ball field courts, I think there's a Bigfoot over at the end of School Street. For those of you who don't know, Steve is referring to Shaun.
What? I'm not outside, though. He can't see me.
Everyone can see you.
No.
Dee says we should go to the Forks, Washington, and see sparkly vampires.
You would love to see sparkly vampires, wouldn't you?
I would like to see a sparkly
vampire. I actually would too.
All right, while you're looking that up, babe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be all.
Oh, I found it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna read it verbatim.
Oh, okay.
Other bizarre speculation along similar lines suggests that Bigfoot creatures are actually pets, which, similar to an irresponsible dog or cat owner taking an animal off to a remote location and release it, have been turned loose on this planet by the extraterrestrial owners.
Oh, that's so sad for Bigfoot.
See, I thought it was cooler to have like the ETs are like taking this long trip through the galaxy, so they stop on our planet to take a leak. And they let Bigfoot out to do his business or her business, and then they run off.
Do you think the ETs have an equivalent of MDI dog pet lost and found, where they're like, Earth lost and found, was hanging out over Brazil, accidentally let the Bigfoot out, didn't come back?
They may, but I don't know if the responses would be so great because
maybe there's a whole like network.
Maybe.
I don't like thinking of Bigfoot as abandoned babies, like a lab that ran out the front door of the UFO and just like.
I know.
That's so sad.
I don't agree with it whatsoever.
Steve asks, is there an SPCA for Bigfoots that had their parents leave them when their folks stopped to take a leak? See, Steve and I are thinking alike, man. Like, there needs to be.
No, there's not, but Carrie's going to start one.
I would start one. We could have a Kickstarter campaign and a GoFundMe.
We're going to have a Bigfoot. We're going to have a Bigfoot rescue organization. Instead of Great Pyrenees, we'll have a house full of big feet.
Oh my gosh, I'd be in heaven. But I think it might be smelly. And can you imagine all the hair everywhere? Like we complain about Gabby the dog.
I can imagine. It's pretty current status.
That'd be bad.
In this house.
Yeah, man. Oh, wait. Steve also says, I want to go volunteer to walk them on weekends. But you're our top volunteer. We're going to see you sashaying down Cottage Street in Bar Harbor. 3 Bigfoots by your side. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, but we got to keep the first couple and make mating pairs so we can sell them. So we can sell the Sasquatch babies.
D says for 25 cents a day, you can support a Bigfoot.
Literally, we should start a nonprofit Bigfoot rescue organization and see how much money we can make.
That feels so wrong, and yet I kind of want to do it.
Well, we can do it as a joke and then just give the proceeds to a real, like a dog rescue or something.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Do we get to take a cut?
No.
Oh.
Only to pay expenses like postage or whatever, mailings or whatever we have to do.
Yay, we have a new job now. So Bigfoot has been around forever. And in Popular Mechanics article, Matt Blitz writes, quote, in California, I can't say the word. California. California. California.
Californication, baby.
In California, there are century-old pictographs. There are century-old pictographs drawn by Yokuts that appear to show a family of giant creatures with long, shaggy hair. They had a special name. and the image bears a resemblance to a commonly held vision of Bigfoot. Some nations really love Bigfoot, and they have a great relationship with him, said Kathy Moskovitz-Strain, author of the book Giants, Cannibals, and Monsters. It sounds like a book about you, baby. Sounds like a book about you.
Okay. I take that as a compliment, actually.
But in other nations, like indigenous nations in North America, Bigfoot was an absolute ogre, she said, a monster, and something best left alone. And it's so interesting to me that dichotomy still exists. You know, like we have Harry and the Hendersons, Bigfoot's cuddly, like the Carrie Bigfoot. And then we also have like the cranky Bigfoot of what's that jerky thing? I forgot already.
Jack Links?
Yeah, that thing.
He's being bullied. That's why he's cranky.
Well,
they make fun of him.
I would be too. And then we also have like the theory of Bigfoot as the Nephilim, like the anti-angel, like the evil from the Bible, like trying to hurt mankind and potentially like stealing children out of national parks. Like there's so many really divergent theories about who Bigfoot is and what he represents culturally. That is intriguing. Yeah. John Bell says, and is gloating, that he's late. He's packing up his fishing gear at Cape Canaveral. So Bigfoot name is offensive, but skunk ape is fine. They smell like crap from not showering. So true, John. So true. John, you got to check out the How to Hunt channel, and then you'll understand that comment, because they're like, no, it belittles who it is. It's like much bigger than a Bigfoot. It makes it like comic. Yeah. What, man?
Nothing. I was thinking about your John gloating comment.
Yeah, John Bell's fishing and Shaun is not.
Been fishing all weekend, apparently, even though
Happy
it's only
birthday,
Friday.
John Bell.
For 2 nights, 2 days, yeah. Happy birthday, man.
Yay!
All right. Let's move on here a little bit.
Okay.
So, what I was trying to get to before was that there's a lot of similarities between Bigfoot, UFOs, and ghost sightings. Do you ever think about that?
Well, Bigfoot's the only one that smells, right?
Well, yeah, but think about of late, like some of the Bigfoot shows we've watched, and they've been talking about the orbs, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And orbs are obviously part of UFO sightings and ghost lore, correct?
And a common thing that happens when you take a photograph. But yes.
So this paranormal researcher, William Hall, mentioned all that. Some of the similarities: strange lights, fast-moving objects, disappearing things. They all have those kind of similar things in common, right?
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So some of the researchers are starting to think of take a more holistic approach on the fields and kind of like thinking they might all be related in some way.
Oh.
And Hall said it used to be that the UFO people didn't talk to the ghost people because they were a little weird. And nobody would talk to the Bigfoot people because they were just crazy.
That's so mean.
So he got to thinking.
Wait, where is this from? Because this is so funny.
I didn't put it on my notes, but it's in the notes of the podcast. I'm sorry.
All right, the links will be in the podcast notes.
And none of the
Shaun
articles
is a bad journalist. Okay.
I'm not a journalist. Just a simple man. Anyways.
Should we stick on Leonard Skinner?
Props on you, baby.
Thank you.
So, could those possibly be links to further prove that Bigfoot might be related to aliens?
I just don't get the link.
The orbs?
Orbs happen all the time.
The fast disappearing things.
Whoa, that was a big noise, babe. Whatever you did. Oh, stop. Stop ruffling the papers, baby.
People see Bigfoot 1 second and the next he's gone.
Kind of like our viewers for the podcast.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, well, whatever.
Okay.
I just enjoy an hour of talking to you, baby.
You're so schmoozy and such a liar, but I love you very much for lying like that.
I'm not a liar at all.
Such a liar. Hey, do you want to hear? There's this great Mental Floss article.
Yeah.
About wild Bigfoot theories.
Yeah.
I don't really like the fact that they gave an adjective to the kind of theories. It just seems mean to me. But you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The first one that they give is a DNA test proved that Bigfoot is a part-time. I'm sorry, not part-time. Yes. Part-time, he works at Burger King.
Cashier.
The other time, he was like at I don't know, Taco Bell, hanging out. No, all right. So a DNA test proved that Bigfoot is a part human. I'm not going to make any jokes about what I just said. Hybrid and deserves U.S. citizenship.
What? Who's saying this? I'm sorry.
I don't even know. It's from Mental Floss. And so It says that, quote, Texas veterinarian Melba Ketchum claimed last November, which I think was actually 2017, that to have proved via Sasquatch DNA sample that the legendary apes are partially human. She even went so far as to insist that the government recognize them as, quote, an indigenous people and immediately protect their human and constitutional rights. It's hard for me to take the Mental Floss article seriously because they capitalize government, and that bothers me a lot. But
plus I need to know the source of the DNA sample. I really do. I'm sorry.
I don't know. If you taught me, I can find it.
What?
I don't know. I'm reading the data. I can't find where the DNA came from.
See, what I'm saying is I need to know the absolute
You want the chain of evidence.
I need to know where they got this, what this, they cannot prove what the DNA evidence came from. How can they say it's Sasquatch DNA? Is my point.
Babe, I don't know.
I know. That's why I said I want to know where it came from. I don't want to know what tree they scraped a hair off of.
I don't know. It says that there are researchers from Oxford who are collecting Bigfoot and alleged Bigfoot and Yeti hair for genetic identification. And I don't know why they thought that this particular hair or fur.
That's kind of an important question.
I know, but man, I don't know that. But I'm sure if there's a real scientific paper about that, they would have the evidence trail that cop people like to have in order to show the chain of possession, etc.
No, that's just scientific.
Well, also, yeah, but I'm sure if it's real science, that has to exist.
What?
The reason for the samples, where the samples were collected, why they were collected.
What was their belief? What science was that based on? Their belief of that they were Yeti or Sasquatch hairs?
I don't know. Maybe from sighting, and then they found hair, and then they collected as much hair as they could, and then they ran it through, I don't know, some DNA stuff, and then boom, some of it turned out to be weird.
I'd at least like him to say, yeah, I grabbed a handful of this hair as I was trying to fend them away from my tent. Right?
It happens.
I know. That's my point. That's why he's an alien. He doesn't make mistakes like that.
Dude, he was allegedly standing over that guy's tent and being like, womp, womp.
Oh, that's because he knew he couldn't
I have
be.
pain on my fingers. I'm sorry.
He knew he couldn't be identified through the backlit through the tent material.
I think it was you, babe. I think you just go around.
How was he even backlit? It was the other Bigfoot holding the flashlight behind him. He's like, let's go screw with.
The other Bigfoot had his cell phone up.
Let's go screw with this camper, right? Yeah. It wasn't a cell phone because it's way more advanced.
UFO behind it, honestly. Dude.
Oh, jackpot, baby.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Recapping.
Yeah.
Amongst UFO believers, there are 3 basic camps.
Yeah.
Bigfoot is a hominid. Or
a
primate or some kind of biological creature.
Related to humans.
Probably.
A hominid has to be related to humans.
Okay.
Anyways.
Two, Bigfoot is an alien pet, basically.
Right. No. Keep going. Or an alien.
Or an alien. And three, well, I feel like if it was an alien pet, it would be an alien.
That's very true. Very true.
And three, there's this Bigfoot's like this spiritual being, potentially part in a greater war between devils and angels.
Yeah. According to what you said, yes.
So.
Yeah.
And you like the alien theory the best.
I do. Because it gives anybody the most excuses.
Because you're like, oh, of course it can go invisible. It's an alien.
That's right.
What? Oh, you don't find a dead body because it's an alien.
Because they don't die here, or if they do, they come collect them.
One of the scariest Bigfoot stories I've ever read, and I'm going to be paraphrasing this, and I apologize. Dee said, and the fourth one is that he just goes to Hogwarts.
That's what. So Haggard was a Bigfoot, probably, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You're my Haggard, baby. Hagrid. It's Hagrid, not Haggard. He's Haggard.
Well, I'm Haggard.
He's had a hard day.
I'm Haggard. Hagrid.
I lost my train of thought. So, yeah.
I did too.
No, they made us laugh too hard, and now we're like just whoop. Yeah, Hagrid was half Bigfoot. I think that's true. Half giant, half Bigfoot. So.
What? I'm thinking of the relationship implications there.
All right, here's another big Bigfoot theory. Ready?
Yeah.
So another big Bigfoot theory, according to Mental Floss, is that the government secretly removed burnt Sasquatch corpses from Mount St. Helens after the 1980 eruption. And I have heard that multiple times.
So?
And there's even that Bigfoot book by the guy who wrote the zombie book, Max Brooks.
That's fiction.
I know, but he uses that theory, I think, a little bit. Yeah,
my question would be, which came first?
Oh, that theory came way before his book. He took that for his book in a big way.
All right.
Oh, thanks, Dee. So Dee said that I was paraphrasing a scary Bigfoot story.
Right. Thanks. She's on top of things.
Yeah, Dee's amazing. Okay, so one of my favorite creepy Bigfoot theory stories kind of is like Matrixy, and Aaron, who just commented and said that's a tinfoil hat theory, probably going to think this one is too. So there's
I love that phrase.
He really does, Aaron. So there's this like really creepy story. I don't know. It just creeped me out. Where this guy is walking down the trail. He's walked down this trail a million trillion times before, right? And he's walking down it. And all of a sudden, like, he feels a little weird. He's like a kind of vaguely freaked out, right? He's like, what? But not really paying attention because he's used to the woods, right? And he's used to this trail. Keeps walking. And it's almost like, you know how like when it's foggy or muggy out and the world kind of like shimmers in front of you?
Yeah.
Like the air has that wave to it. He walked and went through like this patch where the world kind of like, you know, it just looked like
shimmered.
Foggy. Yeah, it shimmered. Like it was like a muggy air place, right? Walks through it and suddenly everything is different.
What?
Like all the hair on his body like stands up, right? It's like prickle, prickle, prickle. Like goosebumps everywhere. The world is darker. The air doesn't feel the same. You know, like how you can tell the difference between dry air and humid air. Mm-hmm. It's just like that. And then this big hand is reaching out for him from the side. And it's almost like everything is like gray and white.
Yeah.
Like the colors are just gone. And this hand reaches out and he's like, swear word, swear word, swear word, freaking out. And in like that instant, he's like, I'm stepping back. the only way to get out of here is to step back. So he steps back again, and he can like feel like this hand motioning, like trying to grab him, and he hears something creepy, and I can't remember what it was. It was like something like "got you," and like it's such a scary story. And he backs up, and he's back in the trail again.
Like
the air is normal again.
Yeah.
Everything's like everything's fine. Colors are the same. He's breathing in the same air, and he's like, holy swear word, right? The air is still shimmery, right, where he walked through, and he's like, no way am I trying that again. And he just books it down the trail and goes home. And he's like, I know no one will ever believe me. It's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. I never want it to happen again. And it freaked me out. But he said that the hand looked like when everybody describes a Bigfoot hand.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stories on that howtohunt.com. I feel like I might not be giving the right website. I'll look it up when you talk. But like a lot of the people.
I wasn't going to talk again.
That's so cool. But like a lot of the people on that website, they have a lot of stories about how they had this feeling. It's like they can feel Bigfoot or something in their head go turn around, go back, you're not wanted here. Yeah. It's almost like they like feel like they're connected somehow in their brain, and they don't know if it's their adrenaline, if it's their fight or flight, if it's actually Bigfoot talking in their head. Like they don't know what it is, but that's a very common thing that happens in all these hundreds of Bigfoot experiences that people are allegedly writing in and giving to that guy. But I'm not going to look it up.
I know that to be a common theme, actually.
Oh, you do, yeah.
But that particular guy sounds like he was thinking, wow, that was some good acid he dropped before he went for a walk in the woods.
I don't think he did acid, maybe.
I mean.
Yeah, Aaron, it's the Bigfoot dimension. It is.
It's like a portal.
Yeah.
You know, not knowing full well he could back up out of there, he should have got his phone on camera mode, stepped through there, snapped off a couple pictures, and then backed up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been cool, but I don't think I'd have been chill enough to do that. I couldn't even take a picture of bears in front of the car running across the street.
Well, that's different.
How?
Because it goes so fast.
Well, maybe Bigfoot goes fast.
Those little bears cubs were hauling ass.
They were the cutest things, though. So I just looked it up, and it is called The Facts by howtohunt.com, and it's a YouTube channel. And
so you were right about the original address, right?
Yeah, I think he might have two because he was originally a guide or something.
Yeah.
He gets kind of cranky sometimes, but
yeah, he does.
Yeah, but and I can't remember his name. Steve?
That's all right. We don't need to do a promo for him.
No, but it's interesting to listen
unless other people need help going to sleep at night.
It's interesting to hear all the stories. Like,
that's what I was gonna say. I forgot.
His name is Steve. It's Steve Isdall.
From your comment at the very, very beginning of the show, you said something about coming back 3 times or something in a night. You said that sounds like Shaun. I was gonna say that if I come back 3 times, that means the first 2 were totally unsuccessful.
Yeah.
I didn't want anybody to get the wrong impression about me because I am getting to be an old dude.
You know.
Can you do that again? Can you do that again? Because you look. What's that? The screen mask? That's what. Because you're pulling your eyes. So what about last week?
Last week, one of my potential clients on Reedsy, like that I was going to edit for, said, I saw your podcast on Friday. And I was like, oh God, which podcast was it? And she's like, it was the one Loving the Strange with your husband. I was like, oh.
You didn't get.
You're never going to hire me now.
Did you not?
No, they did.
That's what. You know why?
Because they're like, oh, that's not intimidating.
Because I'm the talent.
You are the talent. D will tell you every time.
Really
oh, it does remind me of Home Alone, D.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah. For those of you who are only listening after the fact, I made a Home Alone face in which my hands pulled down my eyes and my cheeks, and I was creepy.
It's so quiet in the studio right now.
It's kind of scary.
Freaking me out.
All right, well, you know why? It's because Bigfoot's right there, babe.
Hey, baby. Buddy? What's up, buddy? I didn't mean baby.
Shaun has an intimate relationship with Bigfoot.
It's a female Bigfoot, though. Yeah.
All right, you want to hear another Bigfoot theory?
Yes.
All right, this one relates to one of the 3 groups that you were talking about before, and that is, again, this is from Mental Floss, and it's Bigfoot is really a caveman.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
Okay, so in 2007, direct quote, Vancouver Island resident Robert Wilson claimed to have seen, quote, what I thought was a bear. I drove down and saw what I could only describe as a large, hairy man who looked caveman-like, with sort of Neanderthal features, as big as a bear, easily. Expanding on his claim, a 2011 History Channel documentary proposed that, quote, the Sasquatch might not be a giant ape at all, but could be a species of prehistoric human. There you go, babe.
Yeah.
And you know what the one underneath that is?
But it'd be way more advanced than a caveman. It's
yeah.
You can't even think of it like that.
I mean, he can avoid that Honeymaker and Bobo all the day long, so.
A moneymaker. Hey,
let's tell it. Did I call his name Honeymaker?
Yeah, you did say Honeymaker.
I like that better as a last name.
Matt Honeymaker.
That's a nice last name.
It fits him too.
I need to make a character with the last name Honeymaker. I like it. What?
I don't know. You made me forget what I was going to say.
I'm so sorry. Then I'll tell you my next one. The next one in that list is that Bigfoot is really an alien, which we already talked about. But that stems, we believe, from a UFO researcher, Stan Gordon.
Yeah.
And all the way back in 1973, so before any of us were born, he was like, whoa, there's Sasquatches, and they're going in and out at UFOs. I don't know how he noticed this, but apparently he noticed this. And he was like, oh, this is really interesting. And he created a UFO Bigfoot hotline.
What?
Yes.
That's awesome. So he's saying he actually witnessed that?
I don't know. He said there was a lot of people who witnessed it, apparently.
I believe back in the day, that's possible.
Back in the early 70s, anything
was possible. If you were chilling out on your back deck in New Mexico, like out in the desert, you're smoking a big old fat joint, and you're just like the coolest man and wife or friends group, and you're all just like, yeah, dude. Hey, look at over there. Look at all those Bigfoots getting in that spacecraft, bro.
Dude.
Exactly. Yeah. I can see that happening because they wouldn't have any fear of you. It's like, it's like the dog with the cat.
Or like me every time I think our house is haunted.
Yeah, you never. Yeah. Well, I don't know. If you didn't have any fear, you may not text me. Babe, are you home? Are you home? Is that you?
Oh. You're reading into those texts.
You know what? You always say the best lines, and I'm always like, I got to remember that, and I never do.
And that's why I get to say
you're reading into those texts.
Babe, you're reading into that.
I got to put that into notes on my phone. I cannot forget that one.
You know what? I was like, I want Shaun to do some grand thing like in Outlander when Jamie saves Claire when she's drowning in the ocean and he gives her his last breath and they just kind of like flow up into the water. And
why? I don't need that kind of stress.
I do. I want you to prove you love me, I think.
Set yourself on fire or something. Don't drag me into it. I'll put you out, but
how you gonna put me out without getting hurt?
I don't know, but don't try to kill me right alongside yourself.
dives down into the.
But you said it was his last breath.
Well, that's the romantic aspect of it, but it's not really his freaking last breath.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like, if we were out in New Mexico looking at the UFOs taking the Bigfoot, you'd be like, my wife's over here. My wife's over here. If you need to take one of us, you should probably take her. She's much more into it. Way more into it. That would be you.
I might say that last part because it's true, but I would not ever. I would be like, take me second. Take me.
Exactly.
Raising my hand. Take me. Take me second. Take me. And you know they suck me right up for being a butthead.
No.
Like, we got to study this one. We'll come back for the smart one later.
Stu says that's because he's a talent. How is this my life? That's all I want to know. How is this my life? You know what would happen? They'd be like, oh, look, he's giant. It's one of our pet big feet. We must have lost him some time ago and he shaved. Go grab him. Go put the collar on him. Go put the collar on. Oh, give him a nice bone. Here, give him a treat. Oh, is that a joint or something? Here, you can get him. Come on, Shaun. Come on, Shaun. Back to the UFO, Shaun.
This is the exact opposite of what I was thinking.
You said you would want to get probed.
I swear to God. No, I swear to God, that's what I was going to say. Oh, let's take the one that won't mind the anal probe first.
Indeed.
I'm telling you. Wow. That's crazy. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, so I don't know how we're married. Okay, so before we end, I have to tell you my favorite theory. But what did you want to say first, baby?
Honest to God, nothing.
I don't believe you for a second.
Nothing.
I don't believe you.
I was gonna give everybody the web address for your adult site, but I decided it's too early for that.
I don't have
it. They're not quite ready for it.
I'm not ready for that. I don't even know what that is. All right, so my favorite Bigfoot theory is not the theory that Steve Waddell and I put out in our very awesome book, In the Woods, but which you all should buy right now. Plug. My favorite Bigfoot theory. I'm just going to leave these comments up there. My favorite Bigfoot theory is Bigfoot is really a giant ground sloth.
No, that doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They think that it's actually a surviving giant ground sloth, which truly existed. It's a prehistoric mammal.
But how many of these stories involve something darting across the road?
I don't know, man.
Sloths don't dart anything.
I think that your favorite Bigfoot theory may be that they occasionally sodomize domestic cows.
What?
Yes. Here's a direct quote.
Oh, that's an actual theory?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah, they do.
Okay. So
female Bigfoot are few and far between. I gotta tell you what. It ain't like you can just go down to the local watering hole and pick you up a female Bigfoot. But you can find a female cow. Oh, cows are females. But anyways, go ahead.
We don't know that all Bigfoot are straight.
We don't. No. Maybe that's why
that's an assumption. Assumption right there. But anyways, so the theory is that Bigfoot gets it on with a cow. And before I came to Maine, I thought all those stories about like farmers and stuff were lies when they talked about them getting on with a cow or a goat or a lamb or
before you came to Maine. Wow. Yes. That's and like a slam.
And then I came to Maine. I'm from New Hampshire. We're very innocent over there. So then I came to Maine. I was in a writing group, right? Yeah. I think we're going to get an explicit thing because I'm telling this story. But I went to a writing group, and I'm not going to give a lot of details about the writing group because some people will figure it out. But the lady who was in charge of the writing group was married to a man, and she told everybody about how she walked in on her husband doing it with a farm animal.
The real story is, what did she do after she made that discovery?
Told everybody in the writing group. Stayed married. She also told us a lot of stories about dancing in Haiti with no underwear on. So I'm not quite...
See, I think there's a big portion of that story missing. I don't think she left the barn in disgust. I don't know why you told that story.
Because I think that Bigfoot, like, whatever. If he's doing it with a cow, who cares? Let Bigfoot be Bigfoot.
Yeah,
if it's consensual and the cow's okay with it.
Mothman?
Can make babies. Maybe Mothman. Maybe a werewolf. Maybe a giant sloth, Bigfoot hybrid.
A big hairy cow. Oh, they're like those big hairy cows. Those ones they have in Ellsworth. What are they? The shaggy ones.
The Highland.
Yeah,
Scottish Highland cattle.
Yeah, those.
But maybe that's related to the Bigfoot UFO thing, because like the cows always get mutilated and they get, or else they like.
That's because they try to save all the pregnant ones before they actually have their deformed kids. It's like that's the alien police.
D, if someone told you, all right, so D sent us a message that says random, but I had someone tell me I reminded them of a sloth. D, if that is true, they would only mean the cutest sloth, because I have seen your pictures and you're adorable. And sometimes, those cartoon sloths are adorable. So that's got to be what it is. Steve said Bigfoot wouldn't need to stand on a stump for a cow. Steve, you've thought about this too much.
No, he just knows.
Shaun, you've thought about it too much too.
No, if you've been around horses or cows or sheep, you know which one's appropriate.
Oh my gosh.
Height-wise, it's not like you even gotta think about it. No comment. He does live in Oklahoma, They probably have a class out there.
Oh no. Dee said that jerk who said that she was like a sloth meant it as an insult and that she was slow. And I've got to tell you, Dee, that if I ever come to visit you and that man's around, we're going to go have a little talk with him, because no one insults our Dee.
No. I know not many people believe it, but Carrie can put the fear of God into it.
I really, truly can.
Oh, it's scary.
Steve Boucher knows. He knows.
I'm glad I only have to live through it like once a week. But Jesus Christ.
Oh, you're so mean and you're such a liar.
Horrible.
All right, see, here's my theory on that, right?
Yeah.
Much like a Shaun or a Steve or a Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
I'm normally happy and nice. Like, I love everybody. I'm going to be kind, right? I give people multiple chances and a benefit of the doubt. But at a certain point, if you cross me, the thing inside of me that I suppress comes out, and it's very, very powerful. And I think that the fact that is so abnormal for me, as opposed to my normal state of happy, goofy, it scares the hell out of people just because it's so different. Like Shaun can glare at people all day. They don't think anything of it. They're like, oh, there's a scary, big, tall, white guy. He's glaring at me. What else? He's just a glarer. He has a resting mean face. But if I do that same glare, it's like, oh, end of the world.
Dude.
It's so unfair.
For anybody that has never experienced it, it's like Alien, Terminator.
You're so mean.
I got the microphone, okay? Alien.
I can mute you.
Alien. Terminator. Stranger Things. I had one other, but I can't remember. All rolled into one.
It's very powerful, honestly. But I think the power comes from its abnormality. Like, it's just horrible. So not the norm.
Yeah.
It's like there's this
thing that looks sort of like a sea anemone with teeth that comes out of her mouth. Oh, holy crap. Yeah.
I can't believe I married such an honest man.
I know, baby. You finally found one.
That's so amazing.
But 99.98% of the time, she's the most sweetest woman ever.
Mm-hmm. And that's why when I'm scary, it's so scary.
That's right. It's so much the opposite.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any final Bigfoot thoughts, babe? I feel like we should wrap it up.
Bring me a body.
No, you should. You know what? If all right. So here's my thing. If the how facts by how to hunt Steve Eisdahl. So sorry, Steve, if you ever listen to this, which I doubt you will, and I'm mispronouncing your name. But if all those stories are real, why do you need a body? If there's so many people who are saying, I see Bigfoot, I saw Bigfoot, Bigfoot touched my tent, Bigfoot sniffed my dog, Bigfoot had sex with my cow, whatever. If you have all these stories about people who have seen Bigfoot, why would you disbelieve all those people if those are real, true stories?
Do you want me to answer your question?
Yeah. And then I'm gonna judge you for being a meanie face.
Because I can
and
answer.
Then the alien's gonna come out of my mouth.
I can answer it in two ways. One's like a personal thing. I don't need a body if I have an experience that makes me believe that I saw or experienced Bigfoot.
But why does it have to be you? Why can't you trust others?
Okay, here's my other answer. How many people in the country do you think have experienced Bigfoot? You don't need to answer. Don't even answer.
I bet I can find it.
Nope, don't answer.
Why?
Because it's not. You don't need to answer. Because I want you to compare that to how many people follow a certain political figure in this country.
What does that have to do with it?
Because it's about mentality. It's about believing other people and a mass mentality.
All right, let me just say, I'm going to actually give you statistics and not go into politics because I don't think that's a good comparison.
I was really trying to be on the fringe of it myself. But.
So in Washington, all right, so according to penlive.com article posted in 2019 that hopefully I'll remember to put in our resources, in 2018, 2,032 people had Bigfoot sightings in Washington, just that one state. In California, there was 1,697. And in Pennsylvania, there was 1,340.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sightings.
It is.
And that BRFO, which is an organization a lot of people have issues with, they had, and I don't know enough about them to comment on those issues. They had 23. They've looked at 23,000 sightings across the United States. That's so many sightings and stories, and those are just the ones that were reported.
I know, that's amazing.
It is amazing, though.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take all the numbers of bear sightings in those same years, and I want you to only break down the ones that actually come with videos of the bears that were sighted, and then compare that. And you could compare it on a straight across the board statistical number with how many videos, identifiable Bigfeet, come with those stories.
What?
How did you not understand that? There's no verifiable Bigfoot videos in existence, but there's plenty of bear videos that you can say, hey, that's a bear that you saw, pal.
There are Bigfoot videos, but we don't know if they're hoaxes or
said verifiable.
Because we don't know whether or not they're real. And bears are bears, babe. They're like the dogs of the woods. All right, so your Aunt Liz has a big comment.
I know.
Aunt Liz says, and Aunt Liz has COVID. So Aunt Liz, we hope you feel better soon. I know you can't see Shaun. Feel well. All right.
Yes.
Aunt Liz says, Bigfoot could be an interdimensional being with the ability to move from here to there very fast. There's also the Almasty of Russia, a giant race of people, probably Shaun, that once existed. I've watched Bigfoot stories ever since the legend of Boggy Creek came out when I was a kid. My mother, Shaun's grandmother, was a believer in all things paranormal. Did you know that?
Yeah?
Oh, she was very special. Jeff Meldium, expert in bipedal creatures, believes in the possibility of this amazing sentient creature. Perhaps we are just not meant to. Oh, we lost that one. You've got to give credence to our Native American history and international sightings and belief systems. I am a believer. How can we not be open? No way. The bear study has happened. So much footage today. Love you guys. We love you too.
Love you too.
Yes. And that was what I was saying in the beginning of the podcast. I don't know if you heard it, Aunt Liz, but like there's so much story and history prior to the colonization and white people coming here and taking over the country and the continent that existed far before us. And some people say that, you know, white people have appropriated the Bigfoot and Sasquatch culture because, you know, we're taking those stories and making them ours and then doing the white people thing and making a whole bunch of money off of them. So it's really interesting that way. And one of the interdimensional being belief is like a very interesting one too. And it's one of the ones that it's kind of the one of the big three that you mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, right, Shawnee? Like
yes,
Bigfoot is a primate or a hominid. Bigfoot is an alien, and Bigfoot is an interdimensional being.
Yes. You're a good student, huh?
I listen really well.
You do.
But it's also cool. It's all really interesting. And in my head, Shaun Kelly.
Yes.
I'm sure your Grammy would agree, even though I never got to meet her. She is just so huge. Like, how can all these people have all these sightings and there not be anything behind it? And that's why I'm absolutely fascinated with, despite the fact that I fall asleep during it all the time, with that How to Hunt channel on YouTube. Unless you should check that out.
Yeah, especially if you happen to be sick in bed.
Yeah, and you have nothing else to do. You should totally watch The Facts by How to Hunt on YouTube because it's like really interesting. And see, Aunt Liz has wanted to go serious Bigfooting for so long, and there's a ton of sightings in Florida. But that's okay. Maybe you'll get to, right?
I hope so. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it on Steve Waddell's no comment.
Anyways.
We got to go to Oklahoma and go Bigfoot hunting with Steve. And then we could go to Florida and go fishing with John Bell and Bigfoot hunting with your Aunt Liz. And it would be the best trip.
Yeah.
And we got to visit Dee if she feels like she can handle us.
Either that or we got to make a Bigfoot parody video where we put a cow in estrus out in the middle of the field, like on a rope with a stake in the ground.
No, I'm not killing the cows.
No, you don't kill it. It's the Bigfoot lure because it's in heat. Yes, you don't kill. Bigfoot doesn't kill. He's not the Black Widow. He's tender lover.
But all the UFO things, they always kill the baby cows. They kill the cows, man.
They're not babies. I think you really missed my point.
I often do.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I'm up here.
Does that mean I'm down here? That's so mean. Aunt Liz thinks I'd rather eat a cow than mate with it. I like how you think that.
Probably.
Oh dear. Do you want to wrap it up? Because we went long.
Wrap it up. Yeah, we did go long. I don't know what to say to wrap it up. Except I don't consider myself a non-believer in Bigfoot. I don't know how to qualify. It's like I'm right on the cusp of being a believer. I just need one something. So
like if your very special loved one who you loved more than anything in the whole world allegedly said that she saw one as a child, you're still not a believer?
I believe you. I do.
That you just said you're only on the cusp.
I told you already I need to experience it for myself, just like ghosts. Okay?
Bud,
What?
if you need to experience it for yourself, it means that you don't believe anybody else.
No!
And their experiences in order to believe it. Do you believe that Antarctica exists?
Yeah.
Because you've never been to Antarctica.
I know.
So why do you believe it exists?
Well, at least there's supposed pictures of it. I mean, it could be the Arctic. It's just all just frozen ice. Who knows the difference, right?
Yeah. Yes, Aunt Liz, I did. But I don't feel comfortable talking about it because it doesn't.
Not with me and a disbeliever around.
No, it's Shaun. So Aunt Liz asked if I've ever seen Bigfoot, and yeah, I have an experience.
I can tell the story.
Nope, we're gonna stop the podcast before you tell the story. And I don't feel comfortable because it doesn't fit into the narrative of what everybody else's Bigfoot experience.
Yes, it really does.
No,
honestly,
it really doesn't. Baby.
Yes, not everybody thinks Bigfoot's evil.
Yeah, my Bigfoot was not evil.
And I know.
I went looking for it for like the rest of my childhood because I was like, I love Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think Bigfoot's evil.
Well, some people really do.
I think Bigfoot's like the Jack Link's Bigfoot in the commercials. Like if you fuck with him, he's gonna come after you. Otherwise, he's a nice guy. You know what I mean?
That's a naughty word.
All those people that say, "Oh, they were throwing boulders at us," that means they had like too many Budweisers and were being jerks out in the woods. Maybe Bigfoot couldn't sleep. Could have been simple as that.
Maybe Bigfoot's not into that alpha posturing. And in my alleged, I'm going to even put alleged on my own sighting, which is ridiculous. But when I was a little kid and I thought I had an interaction with Bigfoot. Here, how's that?
Yeah.
Is that enough verbiage?
Sounds great.
Okay, that doesn't make me sound weird. When I was a little kid and thought I had an interaction with him, or her, or it, it was so nice. Like it was smelly, but it was very, very, very nice. And
that's what I'm saying. They are nice until you treat them wrong.
Yeah. So, and I was not very alpha at that moment in time. I was like a sobbing little kid. So, maybe like a lot of things in this world that are natural, and like a dog or a bear, even like it reacts to the energy that you're putting out, you know?
Yeah. Right.
And so if you're putting out that chill energy, maybe it's just going to be chill with you. Like our FedEx driver.
Yeah, he's pretty chill, all right.
We have a new FedEx driver. He's super chill.
He's going to get caught in the urine test here eventually.
I don't think. I love our new FedEx driver.
He's pretty chill.
He's like the nicest. He's like the only FedEx driver who has never been afraid of our dog, except one.
He gave him treats.
Yeah, he gave Gabby treats. Gabby's like, wow, 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 wow. And he's just like, here, little doggy. Do you want a special treat? And Gabby's like, yes, please. And they became friends. And if you know Gabby and Gabby's normal reaction to men on our porch, that is not normal.
No.
So it's all about the energy you're putting out.
I'm surprised she's still alive. I thought her brain melted last night or 2 nights ago.
It was a big deal thing. And now she no longer viciously barks at the FedEx truck. Now she barks at the FedEx truck like, hey, sexy. Hey, you got a treat? Hey. It's so cute. But maybe Bigfoot's like that, circling it around, right?
Maybe he is.
Bringing it back, taking off the tangent. Like maybe Bigfoot is also, like Gabby and reacts to your energy that you're putting out. And maybe sometimes you know, like that scary story about the tent, like, you know, maybe that guy was putting out some scary energy or curious energy, and then it turned scary because he got aggressive, or, you know, who knows?
Yeah. I think Bigfoot's gentle by nature. Fucking vicious.
All right. Well, if we ever go looking for Bigfoot, you're going to have to get in a chill zone for ours so you're not too scary alpha-wise.
Oh, I won't do that. I'm like, what's up, bro? I have a flask of whiskey and some Jack.
You guys can share it.
And some Jack Link's beef jerky, so we can just hang out and chill for a little bit.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Steve says now Gabby, our dog, sees Bigfoot in UFOs, and Steve, I would not doubt that.
So Gabby sees Bigfoot in UPS. That's what.
Yeah, man. Oh, Dee says, just say, all right.
I get Bigfoot to say that into a recorder.
Because we often make fun of Shawnee sounding like Matthew McConaughey.
You're not expecting me to say it, are you?
Yeah, I am.
No.
I had a pregnant pause right there for you to step right in.
All right.
Oh, no.
All right.
No more D. Why'd you do that? So anyways, thank you all for listening. Okay.
I keep getting older and you just stay the same.
How do I mute you?
You can't mute.
I muted him. Viewer, I muted him. He's giving me the finger because I muted him. The power is all mine because Shaun is the talent and I'm the techie. And there's a joy in that.
I love you.
I love you so much. So much, baby. Hey, thank you all for listening about
Thank you so very much.
Bigfoot thing. Maybe someday I'll be brave enough to tell my Bigfoot story, but I'm not brave enough.
You've told it
yet.
once. You can tell it again, baby.
No, I've never told my Bigfoot story.
You didn't tell it on. I thought you did.
No, I told you.
Only to me.
I only told you,
hey,
and I had a really hard time.
Just
with
leave
that.
the sex part out. It'll be okay, baby.
I'm just
kidding.
I'm just kidding. That's so creepy.
Nobody needs to know that yet. All right, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, age wasn't a factor in my joke, okay? She had her pet cow with her, who was an adult cow.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for how this podcast ended. Thank you for listening.
I love you, baby.
We would love to hear your theories on Bigfoot if you feel like sending it to us. And
please do.
Because Bigfoot's cool. And if you have a Bigfoot story, please tell me so that I can be braver about telling my own.
You can tell it, baby. It's a good one. It's really a good one.
No, it's not.
No, it is. I like it.
It makes me look like a freak.
No, it does not.
It does.
It's a good story.
It's a very, very...
No, trust me, it's a good story. I think you should go public with it.
I'm not ready.
That could be our whole next podcast. Carrie goes public. We could be like Geraldo and Al Capone's vault. 55 minutes of build up in a 3-minute story, and in 2 minutes close. We'll be all set.
What is wrong with you?
I'm a genius.
I have a new book coming out. Please buy it.
Oh, yeah. It's called Saint.
We can afford to go look for Bigfoot someday with a camera.
You got to buy a hell of a lot of books if we're going to buy a new camera.
I think I get $1 a book. It's called Saint. It's a YA paranormal. And it's really, really fun. Shaun liked it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
All 3 times I read it.
You did read it 3 times. That poor man. But anyways, thank you for listening. And if you do have a Bigfoot story, we'd really love to hear it. Because I'm absolutely a believer, whereas Shaun is, I don't know if I really believe my wife.
I do believe you, baby.
If you believe me, then you have to believe in Bigfoot.
I told you it's a good story. All right, I believe in Bigfoot.
Thank you.
Now, in this podcast, so I can go outside and try to get abducted by aliens.
Okay, let's go try.
All right.
We need a cow. Let's go. We need to get a cow.
We'll take Sparty. He's pretty
Hey, John Bell, if you're still listening, happy birthday. Aunt Liz, feel better. We love you.
We love you all. Bye-bye.
Oh, I need to do the outro.
Oh, you do.
Oh, man. I did so well with the intro this time.
You did. Now you're losing points here, baby.
All right, here we go.
Thank you for listening to Loving the Strange. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And remember, embrace the strange. New episodes every Saturday, live streaming Fridays. Go get your strange on, friends. Thanks for listening.